ready to put on your running shoes, my friends, because in this week's chapter of Bleach, that's what our characters are doing. Running around and getting ready for the big final battle of the final arc of Bleach. Now, the last couple of weeks have not been that exciting. Basically, it's all just been a build-up to all of these final battles, and this week's episode, in many senses, it still is, but we still got a little bit of action, and we also got a really nice, unexpected team-up between Kenpachi and Mayuri Kurotsuchi. That is, without a doubt, I think the most interesting thing about this chapter, and it also sort of demonstrates, like, how haphazard and crazy things really are, because if they were truly organized about this big final battle, they would have waited for Kenpachi to finish taking his piss so that they could bring him along, because he's so incredibly powerful, and just the fact that him and Kurotsuchi are going to be teaming up together is such a strange combination. These two characters could not be more different. They are oil and water. They are literally like a 1980s buddy cop movie. I can already see Kurotsuchi getting pissed at Kenpachi. You're a loose cannon, Kenpachi! But there's also some other cool characters who show up in this week's chapter. The fans demanded it, and Hanataro is going to return. You remember him? From the second arc of the series, the guy who was constantly crying the entire time? Yeah, I'm really glad that he's back. But at least that scene was made up for the fact that we got some badass Grimmjow action in this week's chapter, because Ichigo and his group run into Askin Naklavar. This guy is great, and Grimmjow doesn't even let him finish his sentence before he jumps up in the air and does this big panther slash, which just destroys everything in his wake. It's an amazing scene, and it's pretty obvious that Grimmjow's probably going to fight Naklavar while Ichigo and his friends make their way to the Quincy King's palace. At the very end of the chapter, we get to see that those other Quincy members are pretty much just placing their head on a chopping block, because they're getting ready to try and attack the Soul King and his giant Gate of the Sun. That's actually one of the other big things about this chapter. There's this like whole big gateway at the very top of the chapter, which is known as the Gateway of the Sun. I don't know how like important this is going to be to the overall theme of the final part of the series, but I can't wait to see what's going to happen. And they also run into Hoshwalth at the end, which is just, again, just reaffirming the fact that these guys are about to get messed up. So what's the rundown on this week's chapter of Bleach? Not as exciting as I was hoping for, but it's still a step in the right direction. Kurotsuchi and Kenpachi, these guys just bleed personality, not only through their design, but just how over-the-top and crazy they really are. And just, I can't wait to see them interact with each other. I really hope that they're going to team up and do something really awesome. And is it just me, or maybe I didn't even notice this, but where's Aizen? Like, was he not with any of the big groups this week? Because I don't recall seeing him whatsoever. Is he literally off doing his own thing? Did he actually escape? Is this all like a big part of his plan? Is he actually going to team up with Kurotsuchi and there's going to end up being some sort of weird, crazy twist for the series? I have no idea. We're just going to have to freaking keep reading. All I know is I really hope they're going to start setting up some more of the major battles. You have the character of Yoruichi. You know, I really feel that she's probably going to end up having a rematch with that one Pernita Jawa-looking Quincy, mostly because of the encounter they had before. And as they're making their way to the Soul King's palace, that's probably what they're going to do. They're going to run into an enemy, drop a friend off so that they can fight, and keep moving forward until we get, of course, to the big bads of the final part of the series. And then we're probably going to get a lot of backstory for the Quincy leader, which I still think is absolutely necessary in order for us to actually care about him a little bit more. I mean, I think he's a cool villain. I think he's badass and everything. I just don't know anything about him, and I really want to learn about that, but that's all coming later. All I know is this was a more exciting chapter than the ones I've seen in the last couple weeks. The artwork was good. Grimmjow was awesome this week. There was a little bit of humor. We got to see a ton of characters returning. This was pretty much a classic chapter of Bleach, but I still want a little more action. So, I still like this one a lot. It wasn't perfect, so I'm going to give this one right here a 3 out of 5. Just a fun, average chapter of Bleach that you should definitely check out if you're a fan of the series. I liked this chapter a lot. But what about you guys? Are you excited about this week's chapter of Bleach? How do you think Kurotsuchi and Kenpachi are going to team up together? What other Shinigami or Quincy do you want to see in the final arc of the series? And what do you want to see from the final arc of Bleach? Make sure to tell me in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching my review. Make sure to like it and share it with all of your friends. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. That way you can see all of our latest anime and manga reviews as they're released. And make sure to follow us on social media. Thank you guys again for watching. And as always, stay dandy, baby. Raise the roof! Up in here. Does anybody say raise the roof anymore?